wouldn't it be so much more fun to be creating and living and being who it is that you want to be? Welcome to Breakthrough Mode, the podcast where we intentionally get into the driver's seat of our lives, shift out of monotony and mediocrity, and step on the gas towards becoming the person we were always meant to become. Hello and welcome to episode 202 on the newly rebranded Breakthrough Mode podcast. I am your host, Megan Bauer. Thank you so much for joining me today and pushing play on today's episode. Now, in episode 200, I went over Breakthrough Mode and what it means to me and this whole great backstory and the vibe of Breakthrough Mode. And I also introduced the first pillar of becoming. Now, in my opinion, everything is about becoming. Like, becoming is the thing because we are continually becoming no matter what, whether we are doing it intentionally or not. And we are just on this journey. And anytime we want to do something, want to have something, want to accomplish something, it's all about being the person who has the thing, who does the thing, who accomplishes the thing. That's what we really want. Sure, we would like the thing as well, but it's about being the kind of person who has the thing, who does the thing, who accomplishes it, right? It's really about becoming. So I have 4 pillars of becoming, and the first one that I went into fairly deeply in episode 200 was having a vision. You gotta know where you're going, right? I'm using this metaphor of being on the road very heavily, driving on the road, and having a vision is knowing your next milestone. Where are we headed? Like, where are we going? And that milestone can be as close or as far out as you choose for it to be. But this is your next milestone because there is no real destination. Because once you get to that milestone, you get to choose another milestone and continue on your path of becoming. Because there's no finish line when it comes to becoming. You keep going. You're on the path regardless. Like, it's continual. It's not optional. So you're just doing it anyway. My second pillar of becoming is all about goals. So goals, to me, if the vision are the milestones, goals are the mile markers, right? We have this vision of where we want to go, who we want to be in life, what we want to, the kind of person we want to be, the kind of life experience we want to have. And these mile markers, these goals are these goals are the mile markers on your path to the milestones, right? The milestones are the big thing. Mile markers are kind of in between. They're like, okay, if I want to be this kind of person, what kind of achievements does that person have? And then the achievements to focus on, the goals to accomplish in order to become that person. Now, these can be goals like, achievements, or they can be goals of, a place that you want to live, or a kind of car you want to drive, or a place in your career that you want to be, or whatever. They can be whatever. They don't have to be like write a book type goals unless that's the thing. But the goals can be whatever it is that you choose for them to be, so long as they are on the path to getting you to your milestone, to helping you fulfill that vision. Your goals are these little mile markers that show you you're on the right way. You're going the right way. You're on the right path. We're making progress. We're doing it. Because a vision can seem so like far and out there. Even if you choose something that's fairly close, it can still seem like it's hard to get to. Like, I don't know, like, how do I know? How do I know that I'm almost there? I was talking to a friend once about when we travel long distances in the car, and they're like, my kids are always just freaking asking, how far are we? How close? How much longer? Are we there yet? All of that whining. And I was like, yeah, my kids do that too. You know what I do? I pull up the map and have that on the center screen the entire drive. And I have taught them, okay, this means time left, this means miles left, this tells us how long, this tells us how far, whatever, so that anytime they're wondering, are we there yet? They can look at the map and see, oh no, we still have 3.5 hours. Excellent. So they're empowered to solve that problem themselves. The milestones are telling you where you're at, how far you've come, how far you have to go. And it's a little bit harder because it's all, we're not actually talking about concrete distances. But if you know that the person that you want to become has accomplished this, does this on a regular basis, and lives here, you know that you are well on your way to being that person when you start checking these things off. When you're like, oh yeah, well, I do that on a regular basis, so I'm a third way there, or whatever it is. You can start to become that person, and you can see yourself becoming that person by setting these goals. Now, goals can be really tricky because we all we've all done New Year's resolutions that fell through. We've all, started the year with such gusto, and then, by March, we don't even remember what our goals are. And we've all lost steam on a goal. Like we have all of this drama around goals. And one of the biggest problems that comes from this drama that affects why people don't set visions and they don't set goals is because when we continually set goals and fall short on them, or forget about them, or just don't accomplish them, we start to lose trust in ourselves. We start to see ourselves as like, I can't trust myself to follow through on that. I can't trust myself to do that. And because we live with ourselves 100% of the time, it hurts when we feel like we can't trust ourselves. So we stop setting goals, we stop setting visions because our trust meter, our self-trust meter is so low that it can't take any more hits. It can't take any more withdrawals because it hurts too much. It hurts too much to see ourselves continually set goals and not achieve them. And that's really the big problem. That's really the big problem because you're with yourself 100% of the time, you have to be able to trust yourself. And you trust yourself to some degree. Everyone does. And then there's this big part of you that doesn't trust yourself to reach, to go for it, to put yourself in a situation where it's hard or where it's unknown or what have you, or even when it's something that you really desperately want. You won't admit it to yourself and you won't go for it because the failure would hurt too much, because it's too close to you. It means too much to you. And so you don't even want to fuss with it because you're just like, no, because if I fail on that, then I don't know how I would recover. And that's a real thing. That's a real thing. So when we set goals, if you're one of those if you have an aversion to goals, I would ask yourself if this is the reason why. If you just don't trust yourself to follow through, or if you easily get overwhelmed with all of the steps and all of the moving pieces, or if you hate the unknown portion of it, because all goals have this like element of unknown. Am I capable? Do I know how to do it? Is this even possible? We've got all of this like fear around the unknown of it. I'd ask yourself what it is about your aversion to setting goals, and then find a way to solve that problem. Now, the trick is that you have this self-trust problem because you have fallen short of goals. And so now we don't want to even set goals because we don't want to fall short, because we don't want to have less self-trust. But in order to build self-trust, you have to give yourself the opportunity to. Because if your self-trust can go down, it can go up. It's fluid. But you have to give yourself the opportunity to follow through on something so that you can show yourself that you are trustworthy. So even though setting goals was, the kind of the problem to begin with because you didn't follow through, and now we have a self-trust problem, it's also the solution. Because if you set a goal and you follow through on it, then you can be like, boy, howdy, look what I did. And you've got all of this like burst of, I can trust myself, I can do it, I am capable, I said I was going to do it, and boy, howdy, I did it. And you've got all of this, your self-trust meter rises, but you have to give yourself the opportunity again. So it's kind of tricky that way. And one of the reasons why we fall short on goals, why we forget about them, why we don't follow through, there's several reasons. One is that we don't even really want it. Why would people set goals that they don't want? Isn't that crazy? It happens all the time because we feel like we should want it. We feel like we should be the person who does this, who has this habit or whatever. We feel like we should set these goals. And there's a big problem with that because should is heavy. Ugh, I should. There's no like want there. It's like, I should get up early. I should exercise. I should read. I should whatever. When you're telling yourself, when that's your inner dialogue of I should this, you don't actually want it. You don't. Because if you actually wanted it, you'd be like, I want to. I want to do that. Instead of I should. I should just feels heavy. I should just feels like, ugh. And just admit to yourself that when you're saying I should, you don't want it. People set I should goals all the time. All of the time. And so this is part of the problem. Because when we set I should goals, we don't actually want the thing. So we don't want to follow through. So then we don't follow through when our willpower's low or when we don't have any motivation, we don't follow through and there you go. It's gone. That's so easy to see, right? So first of all, don't set I should goals. Don't set goals for things that you don't actually want. And now if you're in this place where it's like, I want to be that person, which is a real thing. I want it. I want to exercise. You have to figure out how to want it first before you can actually be successful at the thing. Now, yes, I will say you can go the forceful route. There's that like masculine, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to get it done. I don't care whether I want to do it or not. We're just doing this thing. But to be honest, my audience is women. And as women, we don't like to get in that space most of the time. We don't like to get into this real forceful space, especially when we're talking about ourselves, our own habits, our own desires, our own whatever. We don't want to be in this place of force with it because there are so many shoulds in our life, right? Like, yeah, I should start the laundry. Yeah, I should do the dishes. Yeah, blah, blah. And we put all of our energy into all these other shoulds that run a house, that run a family, that run whatever. And then we have no tolerance for the shoulds for ourselves, right? Like we're like, yeah, and I'm done. And I don't want to do anything I don't want to do anymore. So don't set goals that are shoulds. If you don't actually want it, don't set the goal. Like that's truly the biggest problem. Don't set goals just because other people are setting them. That's also a thing. Like, oh, I'm setting, my friend says I'm setting this goal. I'm going to do this thing. You want to join me? If that sounds so unappealing, tell your friend no. Like, no, that's not for me. Or that's not for me right now. Or I love that for you. I love that phrase. I love that for you. Don't set goals just because other people are setting them. That is silly. Another problem is that we make this long, long list of goals sometimes where it's like, I want to do all of these things. And then you can't even focus on any of them because there's so many. And of course you forget about them because it's this long list of like all of these things. Pick 1 to maximum 3 things that are really important to you, that mean something to you. And if you just choose one goal for the entire year, That's fantastic. Because so many times we set 15 goals, don't accomplish any of them, where if we had just narrowed in on one thing and accomplished that one thing, that would have been more worth to us. That would have been more valuable than the 15 things that we half-assed and didn't follow through on. So choose your goals carefully and intentionally. And one of the things that will help you want to actually follow through on it is when you anchor it into this vision, right? This is why I started with vision, because when you set a goal, if you anchor it into this vision, if you know in this vision of you that you have this thing, have done this accomplishment, live in this place, you've anchored it into this vision, this person you want to become, who lives this way, who does this thing, you've anchored it into this person, then it's not just about the goal anymore. It's about getting down the path to becoming the person that you want to become. That gives the goal so much more meaning. When I started the podcast, I knew, I was like, I am making a real commitment here because I don't want to be one of the podcasters that starts with all of this fire of like, I'm starting a podcast, everyone listen to me. And then, has 3 episodes, maybe sporadic here and there. I was like, if I'm starting this thing, it is going to be consistent. It is going to be clockwork because that is the kind of podcaster I want to be. So I didn't actually start with any fanfare. I hardly told anybody at all about any of it because I wasn't quite sure on following through on my commitment. Now we are almost 4 years into it, and I'm ready to have fanfare about the podcast because I have 201 episodes under my belt to show you and myself that I will follow through on it, that I can be counted on, that this episode, these podcasts will be here for you every single week, no matter what. But that was because I was anchored into this vision. It wasn't because I started with 201 episodes worth of content, because I didn't. I think I maybe had 3 or 4 maybe ideas. But I trusted that as I kept going, more things would show up, and they always have, they always have, they always have. And I trust that they will continue to show up because that's how things work. So, setting a goal of having 200 podcasts this year, when I set that goal, I was like, okay, what do I need to do in order to have that? And it was, okay, I need 2 episodes a week in order to have 200 episodes by the end of the year. And yes, it wasn't quite double the work because I really love my Monday mornings with Megan and how simple it is and how it's just like this boost for your week. So I wouldn't say it's double the work, but it kind of is, because I still have to do things. But what I'm saying is that it didn't matter what it would take because I knew what I wanted it to be in the long run. And the goal of having the 200 episodes was just a part of who I wanted to be as a podcaster. 200 episodes is quite a lot of episodes, and I'm quite proud of it. But it was because I wanted to be that person who had over 200 episodes that gave me the fuel to create what I've created. So when you set these goals, you have to want them. You have to completely want them. You have to want to really have that experience. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that's tricky. Sometimes that takes admitting things to yourself, like, I don't actually want that, or I actually do really want this, but I think people might not accept me or think me weird or blah, blah, because I want it. There's drama there. They have to deal with that. It's part of it. You have to want it, and you need to anchor it in to your overall vision. Because if it's just a frivolous goal, of course, you're not going to follow through on it. But you need to set the goals and you need to follow through on them in order to actually fulfill the vision that you've created in the first place. And one of the reasons that people don't do this, that people just set cruise and forget it, is because this is a whole lot of work. This is a whole lot of work. It's a whole lot of intentional work, of behaving intentionally, of setting intentional goals, of actually working on those goals, of following through on them in order to achieve the vision. But here's the thing. You're in this life anyway. You're doing the things anyway. You're going to spend the time anyway. Why not? Is it really more valuable to sit comfortably on the couch scrolling for hours on end than to create something meaningful, to create something that you really want to enjoy, to create an experience that you want to live out, to be the person you want to be? Because you're doing the thing anyway. You're on this life journey anyway. Wouldn't it be so much more fun to be creating and living and being who it is that you want to be? Sure, it's work. Sure, it takes intentionality. Sure, you've got drama to work through and fears and doubts and all of this that you'll have to confront and work through and get over and let go. Yes, yes to all of it. And the alternative is real crappy. Like, it seems like a no-brainer choice. You're going to become anyway. And so you might as well. You might as well create intentionally. And that will feel so much better. But you have to choose it. You have to choose it. You have the power to shift into breakthrough mode at any time. But you have to turn the dial. You have to do the work. You have to decide what it is that you want. You have to set the goal. You have to follow through on it. And you that's all you. That's all you, my friend. That's why people don't do it. That's why people just stay in cruise forever. And if that's your thing, then that's your thing. And this probably isn't the podcast for you. Because I'm going to keep pushing you to be who it is that you are meant to be. I'm going to keep pushing you to become the best version of yourself. I am going to keep pushing you to shift into breakthrough mode, to do whatever it is you need to do, to overcome whatever drama you need to overcome, to set the goal, to do the thing, to live as the person you are meant to live. That's going to be the message going forward. If you don't like it, don't listen. With that, I totally love you. And that's why I'm pushing you. And that's why I want you to set the vision. Do the work, set the vision, set the goal, do the work for that, reach your vision, set a new vision, set new goals, and keep going on your path of becoming, because we need you. We on planet Earth need you to show up as your biggest, best self, give your gifts to the world, do what it is that you were here to do, and be who it is you were meant to be. But no one's going to hand you who you were meant to be. You have to create it. You have to do it. You have to go claim it. That's what I have for you today. So join me again, and I have the last two pillars of becoming for you. Those will be episodes 204 and 206. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly, totally love you. Bye for now.